Things are looking good around here, guys. I'm very proud of how well this collection's coming together. And I'm gonna run you through a couple of them real quick. I know a lot of you guys are more excited about that square body in the background, or maybe the Lambo kit car over there, or maybe these demons. You're in luck. It's cooler in here than it is outside, so you're gonna get a video on all that stuff today, especially the demons. That's gonna be the next one, and hopefully we'll have time to go live as well. But starting to really look good in here. Starting to look great in here, actually. So let's just start off, and I'll run through a few of these. That's a little Suzuki 50. That's a two-stroke. That is a fully original bike with original tires, probably a 1984. I don't have my little data sheet with me. I took it home to start working on it at home, and Tabitha was going to do a little bit of inventorying as well, because in case you're not following, each one of these starts at my house. As I go through them, we ride them, we check them out, and then they make their way here. This will not be their final stop. They'll eventually get positioned on the wall, on racks. Maybe 5 years from now, we pull them down and ride them again. Who knows what happens? Maybe a customer says, I gotta have that JW, that's the first one I had, or whatever. There's, you know, if there's sentimental value, I make things work. The customer that's getting ready to receive that square body right there went home with one of them in the bed of one of his last trucks. And I was proud to make that happen, because he was like, I just love to have a JW, red three-wheeler, red truck, sentimental. And he texted me immediately about the truck and the three-wheeler. I think he was more excited about the three-wheeler, to be honest. So anyway, long story short, that's a cool bike. Zoom in on the front wheel. The front wheel still has the factory markings on it from where they put it together. Still has the marking on the rear hub. Has it been ridden? Sure. But it's on 40-plus-year-old tires. It still has the kill switch and lanyard on the back. This was a beginner's bike. Another giveaway on these bikes, if you're learning, this embossment right here, any aftermarket fender does not have embossments. And on these particular ones, this is another telltale. This piece in the back, that piece always snapped off. This would get hung on it and rip it off. It just would always break. It does have a couple little decals there from where it came from. I think that actually adds a little coolness to it. So we left them. They could be peeled off. But a lot of states you have to actually register these things if you want to ride them. Thankfully around here you don't have to do that. I've never done that, but I'm seeing more and more and more, especially from California, come with those stickers. But original decals, even the little one right here, and most of the decals get hit with a pressure washer and they're gone. They're gone forever. That is a amazing survivor. We talk about that with square bodies all the time. You have restored, which is right behind it. Amazing as well, but they're only original once. One time only. You can't redo it and it not be original again. That's original. Seat's original. Stitching's perfect. Everything's good. That is a crazy nice bike. The one behind it, nothing to sneeze at. Travis Just Claire, I believe is the proper way to say it, did the restoration on that bike like 8 or 10 years ago. He's a good, I'd say he's a good friend through text messages, though we've never met each other. We've done a lot of business, and we chit-chat back and forth. He's a truck guy. He's building a 60s model Chevy right now. So it was done by one of the premier people in the industry, and that is an amazing restoration. Did a great job. Has the OE-style air filter. It doesn't have a bunch of knockoff crap. And that is the very first year of the ATC70. That's a 73 model. Really, really cool bike. Behind us, a couple mediocre 70s that just made their way in here because I didn't have space the day I took a bunch of them home. Those will get to the house, get restored, then come back here. These are going to all be displayed on a Christmas tree, I call it, stand, which will go right here. One will be this way, one will be this way, one will be this way. And I think we might even stack them too tall. So we'll have 6 of them running up the tree line there. Pretty cool. So we'll have each year of those. The ATC70 Hondas did take a break for a few years. They did a 73 and a 74. Then they were gone until coming back in 78, I believe. Honda 200S does not look as fancy as the rest of them in here. I bought that from the original owner. He took that bike and bought it. That's either an 84 or an 85. Again, I wish I had my sheet. I hate to be vague, but we'll get better at this. He rode it for 2 years and parked it. Done. Didn't ride it anymore. Moved it. Finally, his last time moving it, he says, it's gone. I'm selling it. So I was able to buy it. Pretty cool. Got all the paperwork, all the title work and everything with it. But I also have this little article, 200S. 200S was $1,398 when it was sold new. I paid 3 times that amount, I believe, and I felt like I got a steal on it. Original tires, same deal. Look at the tires. They're probably 75–80% tread. If we were comparing this to a square body, that'd be like finding a 5,000 original mile square body from 1985. Square bodies from 1985 also. Another reason we love them, they're from the same era. All the decals are proper. The tank is perfect. The tank has not even one single dent in it. These could be buffed up. We may clean them up a little bit. Actually, Alvin would probably love to be in this building versus being out there. So I'm going to show him a couple little tricks I've learned. That one there is nothing too crazy. The tires are actually flat. That is for sale on the website. It's one of the few that's for sale. But that's a ripper if you want something fast. Kind of set up for a flat track currently, but you could put knobbies on it. A Moto 4 that all it needed was a tweak on the carburetor. I did not even wash that bike. That bike is fully original, ridden just a couple times ever, was able to purchase it from the original owners. That's going to be a cool bike, and I will have the blue, and I believe there's a yellow just like this also for the different colors. Another 70 there that just has not gone through its process. A 4-track 70, basically the 4-wheeler version of the 3-wheeler. That's a nice clean bike that is aftermarket plastic, but it still has all the right stuff, even has the helmet holder and the lock right there. You guys that are following saw this one, completely original also. It's here for some cleaning. I'm going to spend some time with Alvin, which is our detail guy, but he's not a 3-wheeler detail guy. So I'm going to spend some time with him because I cannot continue to do this stuff every weekend in and weekend out. So I'm going to start showing him some of the process of how to do it so we can get it done. And then we'll have some fresh decals put on that one just to make it a little bit more perfect. Original tires, runs like a top. Went through everything, got it running proper. So decals, cleaning, that one's ready to go. Another clean 200S, very similar to the one up in front there. Now we're getting to the Ducatis. Got them both in the same building together. Red is super rare. I had never even thought about owning a red one until I owned a red one. Really cool bike, does have some aftermarket parts on it, but original front tire. Green one also has original front tire. The green one is very much more original, so we're going to clean up some decals on it. It's not perfectly original. It's very original for the most part, though. Original tires, which to me is the hardest thing to find because that's the first thing that caught a railroad tie, a nail, dry rotted, or it was the first reason you wanted to change them. Those woolly boogers and other things like that were so popular. I wanted to yank my tires off every bike I had to put those on there back in the day. But this one has aftermarket tires with some spacers, original tires and wheels. That's a really nice, very well-preserved bike, but I am going to clean the decals up because I want a nice combination of clean, factory, but presentable. So that's kind of like, in my opinion, replacing a pinstripe on an original square body. I don't think it's hurting it. You guys might argue that differently, but I don't think it's hurting it to do that. Plus, it brings it back when somebody comes and looks at it like, oh my gosh, that warning sticker. It's just that mental thing. If you can't read it, it does no good. But somebody at some time sat on this bike, warming it up, reading that warning sticker. You know they did. I did. And that's the part that brings it back for me. The red one's pretty cool. We've seen those in the past. We're going to go ahead and clean them. I have not cleaned them because they were very original finds, but we're going to go ahead and clean those bikes. 250 SX and then the 225 DR. And I also have the blue and the yellow and the black with red frame. I need to get all those together. That's going to be a cool display. Little piece of crap, big red, but that was a barn find that we resurrected, all in-house for the most part. And runs like a top. It's pretty amazing when you can take something like that and spend, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours on it. It probably sat for 25 years. The guy said he knew it was over 20 years. So got 2 of those together, complete barn finds. They would not even roll when we got them. Tires were completely flat. So that's kind of neat. We're gonna leave that one kind of barn findish, even though we washed it off just so it didn't have green moss getting on your fingers. 400EX, probably ridden 2 or 3 times. AJ thought it was brand new. Still got all of the markings that it's supposed to have throughout, meaning it's never been pressure washed. If you look at the A-arms and go forward a little bit, AJ, you can see right there the yellow marks on the A-arms. Yeah, I mean, everything's there. Tires perfect. Yeah, still got chain guard. I mean, all the stuff that was the first thing to go, people always took the rivets out, took that crap off. No clean, yeah, cut the fenders off with a hacksaw. I have not dressed, cleaned, conditioned, washed anything on this bike. It's an 04, what we call the bug eye headlight. It fires right up. It runs perfectly. It needs some fresh fuel, drained out the carb. Perfect, and a new battery. So even though it's a newer bike, that bike's not as old. It's still 21 years old. It's not a baby anymore. The Quad Runner 160, not everybody's favorite thing. This actually came from a very high-end collection, Forever ATC, owned by Binky Tapscott. He had a few that he just didn't fit his forte. It didn't really fit my forte either, but I don't ever say no to Binky. So he called, said, JW, I got a couple bikes for you. Come on down. He came down, no problem. Paid him what he was asking. And you can't find these. This bike, same way. Maybe ridden once or twice. You look across the back, this was a utility bike. Stickers are still on the hitch. Stickers are still on the back rack. Here. The fenders aren't scuffed up. Most people got on them with boots and kicked the crap out of them and, tore them up. We've done more damage to the ones we ride at my house in one day than this bike has in the last 20-some years. Battery is disconnected just so that it doesn't boil over or anything weird, so the battery is unhooked. Oh no, battery is hooked up. I've never started this bike. It might not start today either. Oh, fuel is off. He drains most of them, so it may not have any fuel, but while we're standing here. So, yeah, I don't even smell any gas. No gas, 0 gas. We need to unhook the battery because this one will never be ridden. I'll still ride that one. That's a wheelie machine. So this one, I have to say, we have not ridden it. It came straight off his trailer in here. Never planned to ride it, but sticking with our we're going to ride everything, I guess we had to put some gas in it and ride it. Everything else in here, we've ridden. We've ridden quite a bit. We'll talk about these demons on the next video. I don't want to mix the video in case you guys are not into demons. You want to see these 3-wheelers. There's the twin to the restored 73 and a more original 73 right there. Does have replacement tires. A couple more 70s that need to be gone over. 74 in the front. These would be brothers of each other, the orange and the red. That's had a light restoration or some fixing up, we should call it. A very original 4Trax 250, not to get off the 3-wheeler topic, but original tire, original bike. Got a weird spot on the seat. I'd have to believe somebody sat something on there when they stored it, maybe a battery or something, and it ate a weird spot in the seat. Original grips, original bike. This is removable. It turns into a spotlight. These were very, very original sport/utility bike combinations. Then the two that set the internet on fire last week, these got put on a picture. What should we do with these guys? What should we do? And everybody went berserk. We had customers from other countries call. Everybody wanted to buy them. Extremely original 82 Honda 250Rs. Now, the whole point of this collection of mine is to have, and these do have replacement tires. Whole purpose of this collection of mine is to have at least one perfect specimen of all bikes and then a rider quality. These two are museum quality. Absolutely museum quality. I'm going to have one on display here and one on display across the street. So I'm going to hold both of these. We've ridden them. We have videos of us riding wheelies on both of them. Me and Daniel took them out. Matter of fact, we did a Takati versus 250R little clash. That was fun. But tires have been replaced. The rest of the bikes are very, very, very well kept. I got to put a little shifter on this one, missing a little shift piece. Got the red and the blue 250Rs, and then several 88 reds. They'll start coming in here once I get those finished and running. A very original bike other than the plastic and the pipe. I got the original pipe with this bike also. I think I'm going to be putting that back on here. but a very well-preserved early Meyer plastic bike with a Clark tank cover. Might even be a full Clark tank. This bike runs, we've ripped on it, it does really well. 110 getting ready to go to the mechanic. I'm going to outsource that one to Pat. Pat's been doing about one a month for us. You saw him referred to in a couple other videos. I've been keeping him busy just going and getting stuff for the most part, but I'm gonna let him do that one. It really just needs a pull cord, a carburetor cleaning, and then I'll do the cleanup stuff on it. And then the one that started it all, we got a cool picture to bring you guys. Matter of fact, no, let's not make it a thumbnail. You got a better thumbnail to make of this. But the stickers were all ripped off. Perfect example of how we treated those bikes. That was our very first one that my dad got in '84 or '85. Then it became mine, then my brother's, then became Daniel's many, many years later. Then came back to me, and there's a picture we have of that and that truck right there in a snowstorm in '85 in our front yard. It's that same four-wheeler and that same truck. 40 years later, still together, still beside each other, which is, it's kind of mind-boggling to me. And everybody I've sent that picture to has just been like, dude, that's some cool stuff. They're the only two things we held on to. My brother's three-wheelers and four-wheelers are gone. All of my other three-wheelers and four-wheelers are gone. Somehow that got tucked away and stored away at one of my rental properties in a shed, and we held on to it. And somehow my dad had the non-car salesman ability to hold on to that truck for all this time. It's not perfect, it's not a show truck any longer, but it's still a cool truck to us. He's had that truck since the '70s. So kind of cool. When you're in a car business, the good old rule of thumb, everything's for sale. Sometimes it's not. You just got to have willpower. People have come in for years offering and offering and offering and offering to buy that truck. And there were some tight times. There was some tight times where my dad almost said, I think we should sell it. Well, he did say, I think we should sell it. I said, please do not, Dad. Please do not. I'll buy it. I'll do whatever I got to do. And he still held on to it. So what a cool piece of history, as well as the four-wheeler. But that's a little quick walkthrough. As I said yesterday on the video, I've been trying to get 8, 10, 12 of them done every weekend. There's a couple of them in the trailer still. There's a couple of them across the street. I think AJ got them all out of this trailer. And I've got a bunch of them staged at the house that are ready. So it's coming along real quick. And it's going to take owning about 400 of them to get the collection to where I want it to be. But we're well on our way. I would say we've done more progress in the last 60 days than most people have in finding some of the nicest across the country that we can find. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you having any interest in this at all. We find it really cool. I know you square body followers come from the same area where you find your neighbor had one of these, your brother had one of those. Everybody has had, seen, ridden, or been around one of these bikes unless you were in a closet if you're in the 30, 40, 50-year-old year range age. You might not have owned them, but you had somebody that did, or you rode one, and you have a memory with them, and that's what's huge to us. And when these things are all up on display, I think it's going to really bring back some cool memories of some times that are not forgotten, not one bit. So thanks, guys, for watching. Be back at you with some more content soon.